Today, we're looking at a blue ink by Montblanc called Miles Davis. As always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around. But if you've got the time, you're probably going to skip this video a little bit into it. This is going to be a dead video. We're going to do it though, because, you know, I'm a completionist. If you'd prefer a different blue ink after you see it, then down in the description are links to all of those playlists. Go to the blue one, choose a better blue ink than this one. Spoiler. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Let's start out with the 90 GSM Clairfontaine. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. There's writing on this side of the paper. Trust me. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. I guess technically it has shading because Davis is so incredibly light compared to the Mont part of Montblanc. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. Technically it shades. Quick starts darker, gets lighter, gets darker. Brown is super, super light. It's above my finger. I don't think you're really going to be able to see it, but it's there. It's there. 6 seconds to dry. Medium is even lighter than the extra fine. I swear there's writing. There's no feather spread, halo sheen. Yes, there is shading. Brown starts darker, gets lighter. I actually should say starts lighter and gets super lighter. Quick goes from light to super light to light. 11 seconds to dry. I know. The scrubby for both, or the medium shows some color variation. And to be fair, it actually shows a little better here than it does here because this is so light. The smear test, I don't think you could recover it if you smeared while you're writing because I don't know that you could read most of the writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Pelikan M805 with a broad nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. Let's just say using it for a day was a chore. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. No bleeding, no ghosting. There's still writing there. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does, I guess, shade. In the middle of Montblanc, it looks a little bit darker than the rest of it. Darker, in scare quotes. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 12 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 19 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show no color variation because there is none. And the smear test, you can't even really tell that it happened. I'm going to try and move a little bit faster because if you can't tell, I can't stand this ink. I agree with Vita. A lot can be learned by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and is immediately put in the water for 10 to 15 seconds. And the most amazing thing that I actually see here is the line at the top where all of the ink is moved up is darker than what we get in the writing. The one on the right that's let dry for 10 minutes before it's dunked into water looks the same. I really don't expect any kind of resistance with this ink, although to be fair, I don't think it needs to be resistant to be invisible on white paper. It's just so light. The last writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. No bleeding, no ghosting. I promise there's writing here. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does shade. Davis goes from darker to lighter to darker. The extra fine is lighter than the stub. I know, how's it possible? With no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 6 seconds to dry. I don't even think this is a blue. I think it's like an off-white. The medium is the darkest tone on the page. With no feather spread, halo sheen, yes, it does shade. Dog is much lighter than the light tone brown, 9 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both do show some color variation. I guess technically there's some there, and the smear test, there's no way you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I think it actually looks better under the highlighter than it does on white paper. It does wash out a little bit, but the contrast of the yellow actually makes it look better. Who knew? Now this blue that is the swatch, I wish this was the blue that was the writing, but there's that really light area right in the center of this, and that's more what the writing looks like. Water is completely reactivating it, lifting it off the paper, making it the only thing you need to get it out of your pen, which is all that I needed. Pen flush completely removed it from the paper, just like water did. You're not going to need it. 1/3 bleach solution kills it. You're not going to need it. We're moving on. Instead of finding inks that look like Montblanc's Miles Davis, because why would you? I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. Being it's such a light blue, I decided to go with a blue you could read, and I chose Akkerman Dutch Masters No. 5. So what do I think of Montblanc's Miles Davis? This ink is so completely useless. I changed inks to Waterman's Florida Blue because I like to be able to read what I write. The ink looks washed out and faded on its best day. Now, I did find someone at a pen club that liked this ink, or at least was very interested in it, and I gave the bottle of it that I had away. So what nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience with this ink? I've got the perfect solution for this problem. The pen of your enemy. When they write down their secrets so that they can't actually recover it. Or if you have somebody that you want to be your enemy, give it to them as a great ink. Now I know I said I gave that bottle away, but that person asked for it. I didn't volunteer it to them until they told me how much they wanted that ink, or I wouldn't have given it away. I hope you got something out of this video, and tomorrow we're going to take a look at a shimmering ink from Diatramentis, their Heliogen Green Bronze. I know I'm butchering that name, and I'll butcher it in that video too.